Shalom, Saints. This is Elvin Israel, one of your favorite instructors of RPK-Resurrection Prophecy and Kingdom, as well as AOSD, CHANDLER, and on TikTok, King Donnell, KINGDONEL. Tonight, what we're going to do, well, actually this evening, what we're going to do, we're going to unearth another mystery. This mystery dealing with sin. And how did Christ's atonement end sin for all, even 2,000 years ago? And why the followers of Christ do not have to worry about another atonement today. So, walk with me. Y'all can tell this is a new look because I'm not in my same location, which happens usually in my truck. I'm actually in my car right now. So, anyway, let's get ready to get started. Genesis 3:4. And the serpent said to the woman, you shall not surely die, for God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as God, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree that was desirable to make one wise. And she took of its fruit and ate. And she also gave it to her husband with her, and he ate. And the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed leaves of the fig tree and made girdles for themselves. So much to unearth right there. All right, so the Lord gives them a commandment, say, hey, y'all can't eat from this tree of knowledge of good and evil. But they decided to eat from the tree anyway. And when they ate from the tree, they would become as gods, knowing good and evil. So when they ate from the tree, the first thing they did was they fled from God because they knew they had a new type of wisdom that wasn't the previous wisdom that they had, which made them not flee from God when they were naked. But as the story transpired, it actually explains what all of these things mean. So remember also, this is a knowledge from God. So it's something that a spiritual individual will understand, not a carnal individual. They wasn't trying to be carnal. They was going to be as God, who is spiritual. So let's find out what more of this stuff means. Coming from the God's perspective, after mankind ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, let's look at how the knowledge of God worked dealing with mankind. So this is Genesis 6:5. And Jehovah saw that the evil of man was great on the earth, and every imagination of the thought of his heart was only evil all the day long. So the knowledge that the God had of mankind, who has also eaten from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, he's looking at their inward thoughts. He's looking at the inward part of man, and he's realizing that the inward part of man is only evil continuously in his thoughts. This is what's going on in Genesis 5, 6, and 7, and so on. But let's keep going. Verse 12. And God looked on the earth, and behold, it was corrupted, for all flesh had corrupted its way on the earth. And God said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them along with the earth. So the knowledge of good and evil has transpired, and it has gone amongst men. And men was supposed to know the knowledge of good and evil because that's what their forefather Adam partook of. But in their imagination, knowing this knowledge of good and evil, it was only the evil that they connected to. And it was evil continuously. And that evil, their imagination being evil, their actions that followed the imagination made them be evil. So now that they have acknowledgement of violence and etc., they're acting out the violence. Let's keep going on. So now Genesis 8:21. And Jehovah smelled the delightful odor. And Jehovah said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for the sake of man, because the imagination of the heart of man is evil from his youth. Yea, I will not again smite every living thing as I have done. So we see that mankind's imagination inwardly is evil from their youth. And we have a spiritual understanding of this, but the Lord declared that he will not destroy man for their inward thoughts anymore, because the inward thoughts affected their outward actions. So he's not going to destroy them, even though inwardly they're wicked. Ecclesiastes 9:2-3. All happens alike to all, one event to the righteous and to the wicked, to the good and to the clean and to the unclean, to him who sacrifices, to to him who does not sacrifice, as it is good, so is the sinner. He who swears as if he that fears an oath. This is evil. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event to all. Yea, also the heart of the sons of man is full of evil and madness in their heart throughout their lives. After that, they go to the death. So, we got Ecclesiastes right here. It's explaining that there's an event that happened to the righteous and unrighteous, which means you have two different realizations of one event. But that being stated, with that one event dealing with man's imagination, it's evil continuously. So, whatever that event got going on that happens to mankind, the evil imagination of mankind pretty much reflects how they view the outcome of the events. So that's what the New Testament is actually talking about. Same event, different outcomes. Resurrection of the dead, unjust and the just alike, but they have two different realities. But let's keep going. Listen what's said to the sons of God. Jeremiah 4:14. O Jerusalem, cleanse your heart from evil, so that you may be saved. How long will your vain thoughts lodge within you? Mark 7:20. And he said that passing out of the man, it is that defiles the man. For from within, out of the heart of men, pass out the evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, theft, greedy desires, iniquities, deceit, lustful desires, a wicked eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things pass out from within and defile the man. So these inward thoughts, as Christ broke down, is what was defiling mankind. So this is mankind under the umbrella of eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So we find out that Christ being the life, when they start eating from his body, like he's the tree of life, when they start eating from his body, what is the outcome of that? Let's read what our good brother Paul said. Romans 12:1. Therefore, brothers, I call on you through the mercies of God to present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, pleasing to God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, in order to prove by you what is the good and pleasing and perfect will of God. So he's going back to the Adamic stage. And he said, now I want you to renew your mind so you can do the perfect will of God. Unlike Adam, who, when his mind was open, the outcome of that was evil imaginations, iniquities, because this is what they use in order to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Evil imaginations. Let's be like God. That's idolatry and etc. So he said, now renew your minds, because remember, they're getting ready for the new heavens and earth under the last Adam. So now they have to have a renewing of mind. Galatians 5:22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faith, meekness, self-control. Against such things there is not a law. But the ones belonging to Christ crucified the flesh with its passions and lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not become glory-seeking ones, provoking one another, envying one another. All of the things that happened in the Garden of Eden narrative. So they're using the Garden of Eden narrative to explain this new creation, this new mind. So why is it not another sacrifice needed from the Messiah? Because in the heaven and earth that he created, in his kingdom, there's fruits of the spirits, and in the fruit of the spirit, there's only good things dealing with the inward thoughts and desires and actions of man. So there's no law. Without law, there's no sin. So in Christ's kingdom, those that follow the Messiah, their sins had already been atoned for, and they don't have those thoughts, those evil imaginations that eventually turn to evil actions. All of that is taken away following the instructions and teachings and guidance of the Spirit via the Messiah and his teachings, because his words are spirit and life. Subscribe to the channel. All things fulfilled.